So you want to get into running. You've come to the right place. If you've been an experienced runner, or you're just starting out, or you're just shopping for a well-rounded, all types of run type of shoe, I would tell you to consider looking into Brooks Running and Nike. And obviously you're gonna be like, why is she talking about Nike? I'm gonna tell you about the Pegasus 39, and then I'm gonna also tell you about Brooks Running's Ghost 12. These two shoes, for me, have been quality. Just, you can get so much mileage, so much support from both of them. They're lightweight. In fact, I don't really feel like this video is gonna pit two bad bitches against each other. This video is really more about highlighting, you know, what works with them, and then helping you be able to make a more informed choice in what direction you want to go. This would have been a video I needed to see when I was shopping, and I had a lot of trial and error in finding the right type of shoe for me. I feel like these two shoes are really solid for most type of runners, but I was very specific about getting the Brooks Ghost because I went to, and I'm gonna recommend that everyone does this. First and foremost, if you can, find a running store, a store that specializes in running shoes, and go talk to someone in there. Most of the consultations, I've never gone anywhere and they've ever charged me, and I've tried it in different cities. So look into a Running World or whatever the running stores are called, and ask them for, an evaluation. They are so knowledgeable. They'll be able to help you know what your gait is, and your gait is essentially just how you plant your feet. So if you're a visual person like me, I plant my feet straight, and they gauge that by looking at the back of your ankle. And so if you are running, some people plant their feet inward, some people plant their feet outward and have a over supination, and some people plant their feet pretty much strike down the middle. I strike down the middle, but I roll my ankle down. It's a weird way to run, but that's how I run. So they were able to help me see that I run that way and help me find just tips and tools on how to find the right shoe to help me. And these shoes provide a lot of support. The Ghost, I don't know about you, but I talk to as many runners that I know, and I know a few insanely amazing, badass runners, and they all told me, look at Brooks. I'm not even gonna lie, no one recommended Nike to me in the first half. If you've consulted other runners, you know that the runners are gonna tell you about Brooks Running, and then the classic is always gonna come up, it's Nike. Now, if you are already aware of your gait, which is the second most important thing in the shoe buying process, don't let anybody lie to you, figure out how you plant your feet, because it's going to let you know what kind of support you need from these shoes. So the reason I'm comparing the Brooks Ghost, the Ghost 12s with the Nike Pegasus 39s is because they provide a very similar kind of support for me, and I've been able to run with them both in Miami and here in New York City. They both hold up really well. They're great for mid-length running. So think you're between 4 to maybe 10-ish miles. I want to say you can probably pull a good couple half marathons from this, but I'm not a marathoner, not trying to be a marathoner. If you already know what your gait is, if you already know how you plant your feet, and you already know what kind of support you need, then you're already halfway there. You just gotta get running. Pick your shoes and then get running. So I will recommend, if you are someone who tends to have a neutral running stance, to buy a shoe that supports neutral running. So right here are my two top contenders for incredible neutral running shoes. Nike and Brooks are quite possibly two of the best shoes in the game when it comes to running. Granted, I haven't tried them all, so I'm open to trying them all. I really would love to see if there's something else that suits me better. But if you're taking the Nike Pegasus and you're gonna take it and compare it to the Brooks Running Ghost 12, you're gonna find that they do both such an incredible job of running on terrain similar to New York City and Miami, Florida. And I can say that because I've ran in both states with both cities in those states with both. I ran with the Ghost 11s. I was so happy to unbox those shoes. They were so amazing. They were pricey, but I feel like right now the price point for this is a little bit lower than it was when I first bought it. It was around like $120, $140 when I bought it. And I think right now it's about $75. I'll update the information down below and when I get the right information, but the Ghost is solid. I've seen some critique about it and how the drop and the heel and this and the third. I can't speak on any iteration past the 11 and the 12. I loved my Ghost 11s. In fact, I'm considering buying them again. I have put some mileage on these babies. They're great for sprinting. This is in a size 11. I have a wider foot, so I like more room, especially because there are times that I like to finish out with like a burner, and I'll do like sprints or hill sprints or something like that. So it's nice because my toes get like, they start being a little bit, I start feeling a lot of pain in my toes because of tighter shoes. And that's something that I noticed is a problem actually with my Pegasus. But to be fair, my Pegasus, I got them in a 10.5. And had I gotten these in an 11, I think they would be even more sublime. Like these shoes, I've ran with both of these shoes in New York and in Miami in like paved ground area. I haven't ran with these in like a trail type of setting, so I can't speak for that. But for hard pavement ground, they are really great, like jack of all trade types of shoes. They're lightweight, they have a lot of support. I would say on the stylish front, the Pegasus is kind of owning Brooks, but to be fair, Brooks has really cool designs. I think it's just the one that I chose. What I do like that I noticed that Brooks has is at night you can see me with the security feature because it shines when you're running, whereas there is no such support with the Pegasus, which I think wouldn't hurt if they can invest in adding that in newer iterations. But honestly, I haven't even put enough mileage on this. I think I'm about 200 miles in maybe with this. This guy's seen about a good 450 at least miles. So I'm retiring it, and I'm actually thinking of getting another pair. And I thought, because now that I'm back on the market and searching for shoes and I wanted to invest in some new shoes, I should share some of the information that I've gained while learning about these shoes. And I'm speaking as someone who has had knee injuries from overrunning and under support and lack of stretching. I've done it all. It took me years to get back to a place where I'm in running condition, and this year I'm signing up for a half marathon. So I'm getting back into running, and these shoes are shoes that I will be training with and likely running with for my half marathon. And I say that because they have the room for that. They're light, they are so supportive. It's like you're running on a cloud, and I have to say that for both of them. Brooks might have a little bit more presence, which might mean weight-wise, but I really can't complain. These are interchangeable for me. I've been running more with my Pegasus because they're just newer, and these are they've seen some time, so I don't get out with these as much. But these are solid. It's a solid shoe. Any runner worth their coin is going to tell you that Brooks is dependable. And these are Nike's most dependable, I believe, one of their most dependable running shoes. For Pegasus, they do an incredible job of just supporting, especially if you're not aiming to be like a marathoner. I'm not a marathoner by any chance. Like this half marathon, it's like, girl, I already know that at some point I'm gonna be like, why am I running? Like, why did I pay to run 13 miles? You know, like I know I'm gonna say that at some point. Cause like I've done one race, like look at me just like divulging information. I've done one race, it was a 15K, and I used my Brooks. One of the best experiences of my life running with those shoes. I couldn't tell you that the Brooks was the issue. Around mile 7, I was like, why did I do this to myself? I was like, I don't like this experience. But when I finished, I was like, yay! So I want to challenge myself again, and I will be training more likely with the Pegasus, but I am shopping to see if I want to reinvest in maybe the Ghost 11s or the Ghost 12s. I'll leave some specs below, but you really can't go wrong with either shoe. If you're a beginner, if you're a runner and you're getting back into it and you're trying to find a shoe that fits, like long runs, short runs, interval runs, these shoes, you can't go wrong with either. They are such a worthwhile investment. Now, again, I'm not speaking for the Ghost 13, 14, or otherwise. I haven't tried those shoes. I haven't ran with them, so I'm not gonna lead you in a direction that I have no experience in. But these two, I can vouch for these. These are my babies. These are my girls. These are great for various terrain, but I can tell you that if you're running in the city or if you're running on paved ground, they provide you support for your knees and your ankles, of course, depending on how you strike your feet as well. But we could have every factor in the world tell us what we're doing wrong. We're gonna focus on what we're doing right. So the Pegasus, this is a size 10.5 in women's, whereas the Ghost is an 11. I think I will size up to an 11 with the Pegasus moving forward because I don't feel the same restriction when I sprint in my Ghost as I do on my Pegasus. So if you're looking for something that bounces back. I have worn the hell out of these. I actually do need to get a new pair of Ghost runnings. These hold up. These I've put them through a few miles and they hold up pretty well, I will say. And that's not to say that the Ghosts don't. It's just that I've had the Ghost for much longer than I'd had the Pegasus. So I really was able to transition from the Ghost to the Pegasus for mid-sized runs as well as like interval type runs pretty seamlessly. I will say that I don't feel any pain at all, and I had knee injuries from running in the past, and so I'm very careful with how I run and how I approach it and how I weight lift and all of that other stuff to support my body. These shoes are really, really good with the walking after, with the bouncing and the springing that you might need to do. I would highly, 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 highly recommend. They're worth it. It's worth the investment, but I will always recommend, first and foremost, figuring out what your gait is. If that means recording yourself and being able to see how you plant your feet and telling a specialist, that would help. It never helps to get an extra ear, especially someone who's been doing it for a while. And if you have any other questions, let me know. If you want me to get into specs and more details and all that, I can. Happy running. I hope your next run is a really good one, and I hope you feel supported. All right, see you next time.